of other things that you could be doing with your time. And it says a lot that you are here in front of your computer, investing in yourself and investing in your future. So I'm going to do everything in my power to pack as much value into this hour that I possibly can to make it worth your time. Deal? All right, now the first thing I wanted to do is ask you a few questions. All right, so for everybody listening, I wanted to ask, are you ready to expand your reach and help more people? Are you ready to raise more capital, possibly more capital than you know what to do with? And are you ready to scale your business and to do bigger deals? So if the answer is yes to any of those questions, I want you to do something for me. Could you just hit your, let's see, is there a chat button or a Q&A button, I guess?
There is a chat box and there's a questions and answers box that they'll be.
Okay, great. Let's use the chat box because you know what? We're not all in one room, so I can't see anyone. But if the answer is yes, could you open your chat box and just type yes in there? Just take a chance, put it out to the universe and just type yes. What do you have to lose? All right, so many people. Yes, yes, yes. That is the energy that we need for this session. Absolutely. Still coming in. Ellen, Greg, Mariana. Yes, that is what we want, is we want that mindset going in, that we're open for this. We're ready for this. So thank you so much. And I'm going to ask for your participation a few other times throughout this because, this is very different than being in a large auditorium with a whole bunch of people. I can't see your hands up. I can't see if you're yawning or falling asleep. And so I want to make sure that we all are here together and we're helping each other. So we're ready. Okay, so now let me tell you why I'm here. I'm here today because you have been missing out on one of the greatest, most untapped, most overlooked, and most lucrative opportunities in all of real estate investing, and that is raising capital from private investors to do bigger deals. That's it. And so today, what I'm going to share with you is how to expand your reach and raise more capital without having to have years of experience, without having to have a huge network of investors, and without having to be salesy. And that was one thing I really struggled with when I was starting out. And if you've tried to raise capital before, but you haven't had much success, it's not your fault. Because here's the thing, raising capital isn't about working hard. It's not even about knowing a whole bunch of investors. And it's actually not about working smart. It is about working right. It is about having the right tools in place and knowing the right questions to ask and the right things to say to really connect with people and to help them understand what these opportunities are all about. So today I'm going to share with you 3 things that will help you expand your reach and raise more capital. The first thing that I'm going to share with you is our story. Our story of how we launched Good Egg Investments and how we pretty nearly bombed our first raise, but bounced back through many other raises after that. And in our latest raises have been able to raise millions of dollars with the click of a button. And I'll share with you the turning point that got us from point A to point B. And friends, I suspect that the turning point that we had just might be the turning point that you have here today. Number 2, I will share with you the 5 myths that you've been led to believe by others that are holding you back from expanding your reach and raising more capital. And the third thing I will share with you are the 3 keys to getting off to a fast start so you can raise capital, do bigger deals, and scale your business. Sound good? All right, now before I jump into the first thing, I wanted to pause and address something, which is now, so I'm just like you. I sit in a webinar and I watch and I listen. I'm like, wait, I have a question about this. I have a question about that. And you're probably the same. You have lots of questions that pop up as I'm going to be talking about these different things. And, you know, if we were in a big room together or we had a whole day together, I would take questions as we go. I love doing that. But the thing is, they only gave me about an hour to do this talk. And we have this life-changing online intensive 6-week program that really covers everything from A to Z. But there's just no way I can put all 6 weeks into a single hour, though I'm going to try. I'm going to give you the most valuable nuggets. I want to ask that you hold all questions to the end, and I will definitely try to address as many as I can. And then after this presentation, you can go to capitalraiseracademy.com, which is at the bottom of your screen there, bottom right, to learn more and to connect with me. Okay, agreed? Everybody type agreed if you agree. I gotta open my chat box every time, I guess. Maybe I'll just drag it over here. All right. Okay, appreciate that. Okay, so thank you. All right, so let's jump in because I want to make sure that we get to everything that I brought for you here today, because I really think some of the lessons that we've learned over the last year or so will really help you in expanding your reach and raising more capital. So I want to be sure that I can give you everything that I brought for you here today. Okay, so the first thing that I said I would share with you is our story. And so this is us. Julie is there on the left and I am there on the right. This is during one of our first brainstorming sessions when we first launched Good Egg Investments a little over a year ago. And here's the thing. We started Good Egg Investments from scratch. We had 0 investors in our database. We had syndicated 0 deals at that time. We had 0 online marketing experience. Neither of us had ever owned a business before, and neither of us had ever gone to business school before. All we had done was we had done a handful of deals, small deals ourselves, you know, the house hacking thing and small out-of-state multifamily rentals. So we had done a little bit, but certainly not at the scale of, you know, 100, 200, 300 unit apartment complexes. So what business did we have to then go out and ask people for money? Right? That's what we were thinking. But you know what did it? Was both Julie and I, as working moms, we found passive investing through these real estate syndications to be such a great way for us to build passive income for our families. And we thought, if it works for us, surely it can work for other families too. And so it was that drive, that ambition, that desire to reach out and to connect with other moms, other parents, other families that really drove us to push through all these limitations. We had 0 experience coming into this. We had 0 training, business training coming into this. So we really had to figure out everything from scratch. And I will never forget our first raise. Here it is a 112 unit small portfolio. And we thought, we had just joined forces at that time, and we thought, well, you know, maybe if you could raise 500,000 and I could raise 500,000, you know, maybe we could raise $1 million. Sure, why not? Seems doable, right? $1 million, you know, 50,000 per investor, you know, surely we could get that amount, right? And so that's what we set out to do. We shot for $1 million on this first raise. I'm sure you can guess how it went. So we started then emailing, calling, setting up meetings with everybody that we knew. And one by one, we pitched the deal. We answered questions. It was like starting from scratch every time. Every conversation was new, right? Everybody had different questions. And so it was exhausting. It was morning to night, every day. We were on this crunch because we had to raise this amount of money that we had committed to. And, we had to get each investor one by one. We didn't have the systems built up. And so it was an exhausting few weeks. And I'll never forget it because I pitched it so many times. I pitched this deal so many times, I know it in and out. And at the end of that period of time, you know what? We fell short by a lot. We actually didn't even raise half of that projected amount that we wanted to hit. Now, fortunately, our other partners were able to bring some more capital to the table. So we were still able to close that deal, which was good, right? We got some investors in. So, at least those few investors are in a good deal. They're starting to see their passive income. So that was our start, was we shot for $1 million. We didn't even make half of that. And we could have stopped right there. We could have said, we're not really good at this. We're kind of missing the mark by a lot. But we didn't. We chose to say, you know what, that was an okay start, but we can do better. And so over the next year, this is what we did. Well, fast forward to today, and over the last year or so, we've done 15 deals. So 14 more than that first one. And during this time, we've raised over $10 million. And our total portfolio value is over $400 million. And so with that first deal, we never could have foreseen that we would be here today, but we've seen such dramatic success with raising capital and in such a short period of time. So how did we do it, right? That's the question on everybody's mind. How did you get from point A to point B? And here's the turning point. The turning point was when we built a system on our own that really worked for raising capital. Our system included automations and funnels and email sequences, each of them tested time and again with each additional raise. And each one we tweaked every time we saw something that worked. Okay, we'll add that into the fold. And if something totally bombed or it didn't resonate with people, well, let's try something different next time. And so over time, we've been able to essentially sort of duct tape together this system. And it's allowed us to raise more capital and reach more investors while actually working less. And that is the magic, really, of having a system and building a system like this. Is yes, it takes a lot of work. Yes, it takes a lot of time. But over time, you really see the benefits of that. And so that's our story. That's where we started with that first raise. And now we're here and we're not stopping anytime soon. We're continuing to build and evolve our system as time goes on. And we're aiming to reach more and more people. And so that's our story, but I want to move on and talk about you. I want to talk about the 5 myths that have been holding you back from expanding your reach and raising more capital for your deals. Now, if you get these 5 myths out of the way, I really think you'll be able to clear 95% of the path for you to reach success. So you ready? All right, let's dive into the first myth. Myth number 1, and we hear this a lot, is that only experienced syndicators can raise capital. Heard this one before? Well, I don't have any experience. I've never done this before. Nobody's going to listen to me. Nobody's going to want to invest in my deals, right? And we hear this all the time. People think, well, it's the chicken and egg problem, right? How do I, get more experience if I don't raise capital? And how do I raise capital if I don't have experience? And the thing is, you don't have to have experience. We didn't. I told you when we started Good Egg Investments, we had syndicated 0 deals before. We had only been passive investors. But it's not about what you have done before. I'll say that again. It's not about what you have done. It's about what you are capable of doing. And through the passive investing that we did, we had learned so much about being a passive investor and what we should be looking for from the passive investor standpoint. And so that's what we brought to our investors, is our experience as passive investors, not necessarily our experience as syndicators and being able to say, oh, we've syndicated 5 deals, 10 deals, and we have X amount of experience with asset management. No, our investors just wanted to learn how the whole thing worked. And so that's why I wanted to crush this myth first, because a lot of people have this wall up that you have to have experience first before you ask investors for money. And it's just not true. There's many ways, many other ways to connect with investors. Okay, myth number 2. Myth number 2 is that you need a big database of high net worth individuals. And a lot of people get stuck here too. They say, well, my friends and family, I don't know if they would invest. I don't think they have that much money. Well, I don't know. I feel awkward about asking them. And, how do I meet all these high net worth individuals? Where are they? Where do they hang out? Right? And it's true. You have to go out and you have to connect with investors, but you do not have to know a whole bunch of high net worth investors to start. It will come. But here's the thing, you don't need to know them to start, but you need to know the right things to say and the right things to do to really connect with them. Because that's what you're doing at the end of the day. You want to form this connection and build that trust so that they understand what these deals are all about and how these deals can help them reach their investing goals. That's myth number 2, is you actually don't need a big database of investors to start. All right, myth number 3. You ready for this one? Myth number 3 is that you need to spend a lot of time on the phone with investors. People are scared of this one, right? Like I was. I don't want to spend all day talking to investors on the phone. That's what Julie's for. My business partner, Julie, she loves spending all day on the phone with investors. But, not all of us are built like that. I don't want to spend my day on the phone with investors. What do we talk about? What questions do I ask? What if they ask me questions, right? And so this was a big one I had going in, was I don't want to spend all that time. But the thing is, it's not about the amount of time. It's about the goal of educating your investors and helping them to understand what these deals are all about. And so spending time on the phone or meeting with investors in person is just one way to do that. There are many other different ways. For example, I love to write. So when we launched Good Egg Investments, I wrote a ton of blog posts. And that's a way to connect with people. In fact, we've had at the beginning of Good Egg Investments, people would get on the phone with Julie and she would spend hours on the phone answering the same questions over and over. You know those questions. What's the minimum investment? What's the hold time? What are the risks? When do I get my money back? Right? The same questions over and over. And what did we do? Well, we took each of those questions and we created a blog post out of them. And now, fast forward now to a year later, investors get on the phone with us and they've read, man. They're like primed. They've read all the blog posts, they've watched all the videos, and they are ready to invest because they've taken it on themselves to educate themselves and answer the questions first. And by the time you get on the phone with us, they're already primed and ready. So that's what you need. You don't need to have a ton of time on the phone with investors, but you have to have a strategy for how to educate your investors. Okay? All right. Myth number 4. Myth number 4. Have you gotten stuck on this one? Myth number 4 is that you need a fancy logo a fancy, shiny, glossy website. And I know some of you out there do, and good for you. That is a good thing to have. But I think a lot of people get caught in this trap of, oh, I can't reach out to investors until I have a website. You have to invest thousands of dollars to find a designer and then outline my website and create all the copy and do all this back and forth review with my designer, put my website up, and then I can talk to investors. And that's just not true. You know, for the first deal that I raised for, and this was actually before we officially launched Good Egg Investments, I didn't have a website. You know what I did? Put together a one-page Google Doc. It's true. One-page Google Doc, nothing fancy, no colors, no photos, nothing. It was black and white, just the name of the deal at the top, and a bullet-pointed list. That's right, a bullet-pointed list of what I loved about the deal. That's it. That's all I did. And I sent that one-page summary out to a few people that I knew, and it got the conversation going. They didn't say, oh, I'm not going to talk to you because you don't have a website. Come back to me when you have a website. No, they were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for bringing me this opportunity. I didn't even know things like this existed. Okay, tell me how it works, right? So you start from where you are. I mean, don't get me wrong, websites are important, and you're definitely going to want one at some point if you don't have one already. But it shouldn't be a hurdle keeping you back from talking to investors. You do need a website, but it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to invest thousands of dollars into it. It's not about how shiny and fancy it is, but it is about having the right things on that website to really communicate with and connect with your investors. All right, you ready for the last myth here? The last myth, myth number 5. And this was one I talked about early on in this talk. The 5th myth is that you need to be a salesperson. This is by far the biggest one that I struggled with when I started. Because I thought, oh, I don't want to impose on people. Oh, it feels so slimy. I don't want to sell them my deal. I want to go to them and try to force them to invest with me. That's a lot of pressure. And then what if the deal doesn't go well? Like, I don't want that burden. You know, I wanted to syndicate deals, but I thought the capital raising would be the worst part of it because I didn't want to be a salesperson. I didn't want to pitch people the deal and trick them into investing with me. And that's what I thought until I tried it. And that's why I say you can't let these hurdles hold you back because you just got to jump in and try it. And so when I did reach out to investors, I realized that raising capital is not about selling people your deal. It's not about trying to trick people. It's not about trying to overshoot these projected returns so that people will, you know, get entranced and be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to invest in this deal. It's not about that at all. It's about being open and honest and transparent, and more than anything, educating your investors. So raising capital is not about selling. It's about educating. And at the end of the day, you're not trying to trick people into investing with you, but you are giving them an opportunity that they wouldn't otherwise have access to. And that is the mindset shift. I think thinking about pitching people your deal seems like such a burden, right? It's, oh my gosh, it's my deal. What if people don't like it? That means they don't like me. And oh my gosh, you know, like you go through this spiral, right? I did. But it's not about that. It's really about giving people an opportunity that they wouldn't otherwise have stumbled upon. They couldn't get that opportunity anywhere else except through you. And so that is what you're giving them. You're giving them a gift. You're not asking them for money. So that is a big mindset shift. So those are the 5 myths. And if you can get those 5 myths out of the way, you can really clear a path for your success in raising capital. So then once you do that, Then here are the 3 keys for getting off to a fast start with expanding your reach and raising more capital. Okay, hang on. Let me get a drink of water here. All right, the 3 keys. You ready? The 3 keys for getting off to a fast start. Now, I created this handy little diagram for you to make it a little bit easier to remember. And you know, guys, I really tried to make this easy. I tried to make them all C's, but life isn't perfect. So we got a C, C, and a B, C. So close enough. So the 3 keys are to connect, create value, and be consistent. So let's talk about each of these. The first key is to connect. And what do I mean by this? Well, one of the most important things that you can do when you're raising capital is to connect with people. And in order to do that, you really have to figure out first whom you're trying to serve. And that is the key. The most people, when they start out raising capital, they think about the how, right? They think about, oh my gosh, how am I going to find investors? How am I going to get them to invest with me? How am I going to pitch this deal? How am I going to guide them through the process? How am I going to collect money? So you think about all these hows, right? But the one thing that most capital raisers forget is the who. You have to focus on the who first, because the who will guide your how. How's that for a quote? Your who will guide your how. I didn't even write that down. I was just thinking that I should write that down now. Your who will guide your how. I love that. All right. And here's what I mean by that, is that once you figure out whom you're trying to serve, you'll be able to structure all of your messaging, all of your marketing, all of your communication around that target audience. And this is a big mistake that we made when we first launched Good Egg Investments, is we thought, oh, yeah, we'll take anybody. You got money? You got money? Yeah, come on in. Whoever has some money, we'll take it. Come on in. There's room for everyone. And we still do. Like, if you have money and you like us and you want to invest with us, sure. But we have a very specific target audience, because what we realized was when we were targeting everyone, we were reaching no one. Our message just was too generic to resonate with anyone. And so we really had to back up and define our target audience first. And we got super clear. In fact, we created a fictional character. Her name is Jen, and she is a fictional representation of our ideal investor, our investor avatar, if you will. And so here's Jen. You can read through some of this stuff, but you can see we've really gone into detail. And this isn't even all of it. This is really just a fraction of all the body of information that we've created about this person, Jen. So you can see she's in her 30s. She's married. She has 3 kids and a golden doodle. Can't forget the golden doodle. They live in San Francisco. They own their home. And what that says is they've been through the real estate process before, so they know a little bit about real estate. They have 2 cars, of course, a BMW. Can't forget the Tesla. She works as a senior program manager at Google, so pretty high up. And her husband, Mark, works at Facebook. Here, we talked about what they earn. So from that, you can see that they are accredited investors. And then we got into her behavior. You know, who is she as a person, as a mom, as a wife? What does she do and where does she hang out? So things like where she shops, what she listens to, you know, and even pain points. And this can be especially telling. Things like she wants to be crafty with her kids, but she doesn't have the time or energy. Man, doesn't that just tug at your heartstrings? I mean, I know I feel that with my kids. I see all these beautiful pictures on Pinterest, and I'm like, I want to make that cute fuzzy caterpillar project with my kids, but oh my gosh, I got to go to Michael's. I got to get the yarn. I got to get the pots and whatever, you know, I got to get the glue, and I got to set down the newspaper, and oh my gosh, that's going to take all day, right? But then there's the guilt that comes with that. I'm like, oh, okay, am I not providing for my kids enough? And am I not giving them the enriching experiences that other moms are giving their kids, right? And so this is totally a stressor, a pain point that Jen struggles with. And so what can we do with that? Now we can take all of this information and we can build it into our messaging, because we know that we have a solution for Jen. And what is that solution? It's she can invest passively in these multifamily syndications and create passive income for her family so she doesn't have to work as much. Maybe she can scale back to working part-time, or she can work as a consultant and do work on her own hours, start her own business, or maybe she can just quit her job altogether, right? So we have this solution for her. Now we just need to figure out how to communicate that to her. And that's why all of this identifying information about your target audience is so important, is now we can talk to Jen about having the time to be with her kids, to create those crafts. And when our target audience, when a person like Jen reads our blog post or watches a video about that, she can say, oh my gosh, how did they know that I struggle with that? Oh my gosh, they have the solution for me. And that's the power of really clearly defining your target audience, is you know everything about them. So you can speak directly to them. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. You're thinking, well, maybe her husband Mark, maybe Mark doesn't care about crafts, right? The message is not going to land with him. Well, he's not our target audience. And so you have to let that go, is that you cannot reach everyone. Nobody can. There's no company, no business on the face of the earth that reaches to everyone. So the sooner that you define your target audience, the stronger your business will be and the more capital that you'll be able to raise. So that's key number one to getting off to a fast start, is to define your target audience so that you can really start to connect with them. Got it? All right. Key number two. Remember, create value. So now that you know Jen or whomever your investor avatar is, your next step is to create value for that person. You have to think about, okay, in our case, it's Jen. Okay, so Jen probably doesn't have a lot of time. She's probably on the go all the time. She may have headphones. She may listen to some podcasts, but she's probably on her phone a lot, in her spare time because her kids are running around. So maybe she has some time to scroll through a quick blog post or two. Videos, maybe she has time to watch videos. And so you really have to think about, what does this target audience, what does this investor avatar, what do they need to get from where they are to being able to understand how your solution, this deal that you have or investing in syndications, how this can help them in their lives. So that is the value that you're creating. And so for us, when we started, we created a ton of blog posts. In fact, for a while there, I was blogging every single day because there was just so much information I wanted to communicate to our target audience. And now I want to address something here, which is a lot of people think, a blog post, I don't know what to write. I'm a terrible writer. I always hated writing in school, and that's the thing, is everybody has their own way of creating value. And that's what you need to figure out for yourself, is you may like writing, and maybe a blog is the best way for you to go to connect with your investors. Or maybe you prefer talking to people. And so maybe in that case, maybe you think about starting a podcast, or you start a local meetup. So there's lots of different ways to create that value. So you have to think about who your target audience is, and also, and perhaps just as important, who you are. And if you choose something like a blog and you hate writing, it's not going to last very long. And you're going to dread it. And it's going to create this downward spiral. So you've got to figure out who you are and how you can best connect with your target audience. Okay, so that's key number 2, is to create value. And key number 3, perhaps the most important of them all, is to be consistent. Be consistent. Whatever you choose, however you decide that you're going to reach out and connect with your investors, you have to be consistent. And this is why it's more important for capital raising than perhaps most other businesses, is because raising capital is all about what? Trust. It's all about building trust between you and your investors. They have to know that you are going to be there, because guess what? They're taking their hard-earned $50,000 or $100,000 and they are giving it to you. You are the steward of their money. And in order to do that, they have to trust you. And so consistency is one of those ways that you can not only tell them to trust you, but really show them that they can trust you. There's a lot of ways to do this, but one of the ways we've found at Good Egg Investments to be really effective for us is that we started at the very beginning with a weekly newsletter. A lot of people said to me, weekly? Are you out of your mind? That's going to be so hard. And I said, yeah. Heck yeah, it's going to be hard, but you know what? We're going to show up. We're going to do it every single week, and we are going to be in people's inboxes every single week. I don't care what it takes, and I don't care how long it takes to see the effects of it, but I know it's the right thing to do to show people that we are there for them. And that's what we did. So on this isn't even the latest one. We've had one since this, but this is one of our recent newsletters. We call it the Good Egg Scramble. And here on the right-hand side, you can see, we use Active Campaign. You can see our Active Campaign history of all of the newsletters we've sent week by week by week by week. And do we have something really fantastic and awesome and interesting to share every single week? No, nobody does. Nobody's that fascinating all the time, and neither are we. We are no exception. But do we continue to show up every single week? You better believe it, because we are working on being consistent so that our investors can build that relationship and build that trust with us. It is hard freaking work, but we do it every week, every single week. And I would tell you, if you're starting out, if you're starting out syndicating and you're like, I don't know what to say, I don't have a deal under contract. What do I tell my investors? Well, tell them that. Tell them you don't have a deal. Tell them that you're going out and talking to all these sponsors, or you're looking at all these properties, you're doing all this underwriting, and guess what? The market is hot right now and nothing is penciling. Tell them that. Bring them along for that journey. That's what builds the trust. It's not about having this shiny front to show people like, here I am, here's my business, I am the best, you invest with me. It's not about that at all. It's about being open and vulnerable with people and showing them what your business is all about. Because honestly, once they invest with you, things are not going to be perfect, right? Things are not going to be perfect all the time. Things happen, especially when you're renovating properties. Nothing's going to be perfect all the time. So what better time to show that than right now? And so whatever way you choose, being consistent will pay off in the long run, because your investors will learn to trust you and they will learn that you will always be there. And that creates that peace of mind so that they know when they invest with you, they know that you will take good care of their money because you've been there for them all along. Make sense? So those are the 3 keys to getting off to a fast start with raising capital. 1 is to connect and figure out whom you're trying to serve. 2 is to create value. for your investors. And 3 is to be consistent. Connect, create value, and be consistent, and you will go far in raising capital. So now I've shared with you the 3 things that I said I would share with you today. The first thing was our story, how we launched Good Egg Investments with 0 experience, and we pretty nearly bombed our first raise, but then bounced back. And I shared with you the turning point, that system that we were able to create that really took us from where we started to being able to now raise millions of dollars with the click of a button. Second, I shared with you the 5 myths that you've been led to believe by others that have been holding you back from expanding your reach and raising more capital. And the third thing that we just covered are the 3 keys to getting off to a fast start so that you can raise more capital and do bigger deals. So now let me ask you, how many of you learned at least one new thing during this talk, or you were reminded of at least one thing that you already knew, but maybe you hadn't thought of for a while? So if the answer is yes, I ask you please pull out that chat box and type yes in there. Let me envision all those hands going up in the auditorium. Let me see all those yeses. Oh, I love it, Tim, with all those exclamation points, capital letters. I love it. I love it. This is what it's all about, right? I'm so glad to see. And this is why I wanted to be here on a Saturday, and with all of you investing your Saturdays here with me, is that I wanted to be sure to give you as much value as I could. Now, I know that some of you are, you've gotten value, but friends, I know that some of you are wondering how we can help you more. And because we are giving this talk here today, we've worked with Dan and the MFIN team to give you a special gift today. So, you want to hear it? All right, so today, as of today, and you are the first people to hear about this, is we are launching our brand new program called Capital Raiser Academy. Now, whereas this 1-hour talk only covers the very high level information about who we are and how it works and what you should be doing, Capital Raiser Academy really goes into depth on everything from soup to nuts. And in fact, in this program, we've built so much into this that we're going to give you all of our systems, our processes, and our templates. We're going to draw back the curtain and give you access to all of it. And best of all, we're not going to be like those courses that are up here, high level and abstract. We're going to be on the ground with you, and we're going to give you word for word exactly what we use in our business so you can copy it and use it in your business as well. So basically, remember I talked about our turning point was that system that we duct taped together. Well, we've got it all duct taped, and we're going to hand it over to you so that you can use it in your business and you can reach success. So this program retails for $14,997 with a monthly membership of $250. And if you were to go to our site, capitalraiseracademy.com, if you were to go there right now, that's what you would pay. And friends, let me tell you, it is worth every penny of that. When we were starting Good Egg, I wish that we had a system like this. But the fact is, we went through so much trial and error to get to where we are today. And I think about all those deals, those 15 deals that we did. If we had been able to raise even $1 million for every one of those deals, we would have so much more money in the bank right now. It's ridiculous. But we had to figure it out every time. So sometimes we were able to raise a little bit more. Sometimes it was a little bit less. We spent a lot of time going back and forth and trying to figure things out. So that's what we wanted to give you through this program. And so let me tell you a little bit more about what is included. So here's what you get as part of Capital Raiser Academy. The first thing is you get 9 private coaching sessions with me and Julie. 9 of them. That means 3 private 45-minute coaching sessions each month for 3 months. And what that means for you is that you get time with us, me and Julie. Not coaches we've trained, but us. We'll be there with you every step of the way. And we'll customize the sessions for exactly what you need, because some people may need to, role play an investor call and go through those questions and get our feedback on that. Some of you may need more help with your brand strategy and your website. Some of you may need help setting up automations and thinking through your funnels. So whatever you need, we will be there for you through these 9 coaching calls. And that is a value of $12,500. You will also get 6 behind-the-scenes video trainings with Q&A led by Julie and me. Now, what this means for you is that you get the benefit out of our years of real estate investing and capital raising experience condensed down into just the most valuable nuggets. And we will give you actionable tips and ideas that you can implement right away to see success in your business. And that is a value of $21,000. You will also get, and this is a big one, you will get the exact email templates, forms, and call scripts that we've used to raise millions of dollars in our business, word for word. And what this means for you is that you don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to go through the trial and error that we did. You will get everything laid out for you, every email that we use, every call script that we use, every template, every form. You will get direct access to that, and you can modify them however you see fit, or you can copy and paste them and use them as is. And these have been proven to be successful in raising capital. And we've spent, Julie's watching. She's probably rolling her eyes too. We've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours refining all of these, and we are giving them to you. And this is a value of $35,000. Next, you will get a library of the most frequently asked investor questions and answers. That's the key, right? Not just knowing the questions, but knowing how to answer them. And what this means for you is that you will not be caught off guard. When an investor asks you a question you don't know the answer to, you don't have to go and Google it and find it. You can reference this guide and find exactly what you need. And all of our answers have been vetted and refined across hundreds of investor conversations. So you're guaranteed to have something really valuable to then bring back to your investor. And that is a value of $5,497. Next, another big one. How many of you want to work less but be able to raise more? I know I do. And so this next thing is plug and play automations and funnels that we've used to raise millions of dollars. And what this means for you is that you get to cut your work in half. Before we had any automations in our business, we were doing the same things over and over and over again, sending the same emails, answering the same questions, going back and forth to set up meetings over and over again. And over time, we've built up these automations and these funnels to bring investors into our system. And what we'll do is we will show you exactly how to set up the same automations and funnels in your business so it can run smooth, baby, like clockwork. And you can cut your workload in half while still expanding your reach and raising more capital. And that is a value of $50,000. One more here, really valuable, is you will get connections and referrals to vetted operators looking for capital raiser partners. And this one is huge. I mean, think about all the people out there who will approach you if they find out you know how to raise capital, right? But how do you know whom you should partner with? It's a huge risk to take, right? So what this means for you is that we leverage our network and we do the hard work of vetting all of those partners, and we find the ones with a strong track record and lots of experience who are looking for capital raiser partners, and we make that introduction so that right away you have a strong operator to work with, and when you bring your investor money in, you know that you're not risking your reputation or your investors' money. So that can be a huge step up to propel your business forward. And that is a value of $19,997. Now, altogether, these items are a value of $143,994. But that's not all, because every month you will also get access to one live online group mastermind session. And what this means for you is that not only will you be building an ongoing relationship with Julie and me, but you'll also be able to develop strong relationships with your peers, with other partners and capital raisers who are doing the same thing that you're doing. And you can learn together and you can create those partnerships to propel your businesses forward. And that is a value of $497 per month. You will also get 2 emergency calls with either Julie or me every month. And what that means is anytime you get stuck, doesn't matter what time it is or what you're getting stuck on, you can call us on our private cell phone numbers, and we will coach you right then and there. And we will help you through whatever challenges you're experiencing, and we'll help you to think of some new ideas that you can implement right away to achieve success. And that is a value of $1,000 per month. And this one, I know a lot of people wishes they had this one. Julie's probably shaking her head watching right now. Every month, you get 4 done-for-you blog posts about passive investing and real estate syndications that you can copy and paste directly onto your website. And lots of people, when they start out, they talk about how important thought leadership in this space is, right? Building that trust and creating value. But it's so hard to know what to write about, to know what to blog about. Week after week after week, it takes lots of stamina, right? Well, we've been there. And like I said before, I love to write. And so what this means for you is that you don't have to spend your time creating these blog posts every week. You don't have to show your investors that early on you had all these blog posts, but then you lost steam and you haven't posted for 4 months, right? How many of you have seen that before? And so what this means is that every single week you will get delivered to you one full blog post, optimized and SEO friendly, that you can modify if you'd like, or you can copy and paste and post it directly on your website so that you can start to educate your investors and they will become primed and ready to invest with you. And that is a value of $5,997 per month. One more thing here is you will get ongoing access to our private Facebook community of like-minded capital raisers and potential partners. And what this means for you is that you get access to all these potential partnerships. You can discover and develop relationships that can then become key partnerships for your business. I mean, that's how Julie and I started, was we met online. Okay, not through Tinder, but we met online through an online conversation. And then we met in person. But had we not connected online first, we probably wouldn't have thought to meet each other or made the time to say, okay, meet me over here, I want to talk to you. We started online, and that's the value of being in this space with such a niche group of people is that you're in the same space and you can really get to know and help each other and form those partnerships. And that is a value of $1,000 per month. So altogether, the monthly value is $8,494 per month. So if you take 12 months worth of that plus the core value up top, you get a total first year value of $245,992. And friends, if you were to buy each one of these separately, that is the price that you would pay. But we want to help as many people as possible, and we know that $245,000 is not a reasonable check for anybody to write. And so that's why we wanted to bundle all this together into Capital Raiser Academy. And so for Capital Raiser Academy, you're not going to pay $245,000. You're not going to pay $200,000 or $100,000 or even $50,000. The retail value is $14,997 with a monthly membership of $250. But, and you knew there was a but, you knew. We're here today speaking with you on this lovely Saturday afternoon, and we are so proud of you for taking the time to invest in yourself and in your future success. So we've worked with Dan and the MFIN team to give you a special offer. For you, you're not even going to pay the retail price of $14,997. In fact, we are going to give this all to you. You'll get the coaching with us, that private coaching. You'll get the masterminds. You'll get the done-for-you blog posts. You'll get the investor questions and answers. You'll get the plug-and-play automations and funnels. You'll get all of it for just $99.97. And we'll even cut that monthly rate down to $197. And friends, this is the first time we're putting this out, but we will most likely be raising these prices in the future. So if you were to enroll now, you would be locking in these rates forever. Now, how do you find out more? Well, you can go to go.capitalraiseracademy.com to sign up at this special price. But wait. Because we like to reward people who take action, we want to incentivize you to do what you know is right for your business. We want to make it as easy as possible. So if you were to enroll before the end of this talk, which I believe we have another 15 minutes, if you were to enroll before the end of that time, we will give you everything you see here, Capital Raiser Academy, but we will also give you, for free, we will give you our flagship course, Passive Real Estate Investor Academy, which is our course for new passive investors, to take them from knowing next to nothing about real estate investing all the way through being confident investing in their first real estate syndication. And what this means for you is that you get to see exactly how we talk to our investors about everything that they need to know. And you get to see all the different topics that are important for a new passive investor to know. And that is a value of $997. Okay, so right now, open up a new browser window and type in go.capitalraiseracademy.com. That's go.capitalraiseracademy.com. And you can sign up right now. I'm going to start a timer actually so we know how much time is left. So we've got about 14 minutes left. So if you were to sign up within the next 14 minutes, I'll put this down here, then you will get both Capital Raiser Academy and Passive Real Estate Investor Academy. Is that a deal or is that a deal? I mean, we really wanted to put as much as we possibly could in here because we know the value of being able to help others and being able to build a business for yourself and to be able to raise capital so you can do bigger deals. And so we've packed as much as possible as we can, and now the ball is in your court. Now, I'm going to take the rest of this time because we have about 13 minutes left. I'm going to take this time. I promised you at the beginning that I would address some questions. And so I'll do that within this time. And I want to get through as many questions as I can. So I'm going to try to keep my answers short. And I wanted to address a few questions that I've already had come in, if that's okay.
Yes,
and then,
that would be great.
Great. And then if you have questions, definitely open up that Q&A. I see a few of you have already done that. And so we've got some Q&A here as well that I'll address in just a minute.
Are you ready?
Good? Yeah.
All right. So the first one is, how do you show a track record when you are starting raising capital?
How do you, oh, I see it. How do you show your track record? Yes, that is a good one. And that goes back to the chicken and egg problem, right? When you don't have a track record when you get started. And that is the power of partnerships. We talked about, you know, if you don't have the experience, then partner on, especially on that first deal, partner with somebody who has done it before, who has that track record. And where do you meet those people? Well, through something like a private online Facebook community or through these events. And so that is what I would suggest, is to partner with somebody who does have that track record. And again, you can visit go.capitalraiseracademy.com to learn more.
I agree with that. Here's the next question. What are your Post-its on your door?
I love that. I love that. The Post-its on the door behind me are, believe it or not, the first brainstorming session I did on my own. This was before Julie and I partnered up, about what business I wanted to build. So you'll see on there things like start an event for women real estate investors, which we're going to do very soon, and create a robust blog for passive investors, and all these different ideas. And it's been really neat to watch month after month to see I've been able to check some of those things off.
Very nice. Very nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Next question. General saying is investors are for life. However, what are the top 3 reasons why someone would drop out and don't invest in someone anymore?
That's interesting. Investors for life, and what are the top reasons why some investors drop out? Well, I think it comes back to those 3 keys. Remember those 3 keys that we talked about? Connect, create value, and be consistent. And if investors are investing with you, that means they see those 3 keys in you. They see that your business is connecting with them, you're creating value for them, and you're being consistent. But sometimes people fall off. Sometimes you're no longer connecting with them for any reason. Maybe you're getting busier, maybe you're not being as consistent, or maybe they've changed. Maybe their life has changed and they want to invest in different types of deals, or they want to try some other types of investment opportunities. So I would say if you are strong, you can't control your investors, right? So there's no way you can control your investors and force them to invest with you. All you can do is control your own business. Through those 3 keys, you will be set up for success.
Wonderful, wonderful. Next question. How do you handle the other piece of the puzzle except capital raising?
The other piece of the puzzle. Now, I would ask for a little bit more information there. There's a lot of pieces of the puzzle, as I'm sure you know. There's a lot of pieces of the puzzle. There's the marketing piece. There's the acquisition piece, the underwriting piece. There's a lot. So I just asked for a little more clarification on that one.
Very good. Next one, is your book out yet?
Our book, oh my gosh, it's our first time writing a book, and we have learned so much, as you do the first time you do anything. And we've learned a lot about the printing process, and it's taken a little bit longer. The book is ready, but it's with the printer now, so it's going to take another little while. And if you're interested in the book, you can go to our website, goodegginvestments.com / oh shoot, I haven't given this URL out in a while, but you can go to our website and you can find out more. And also it's in the MFIN program. I think it's just / book. And you can get yourself a free copy of that book when it does come out.
Very good. Very good. Well, Annie, I know that this presentation was just phenomenal, and I'm actually going to have to go back and watch it again because there's so much content you had in there. I love it, and it's just a wonderful way to end the summit right here. So thank you very much for spending your Saturday afternoon here with us and giving us so much information.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. And can I just ask,
Yes.
because I love giving as much value as possible, since we have another 7 or so minutes, could I just go through some of the frequently asked questions that people have asked me before?
Yes, would love to.
Okay, just to add a little bit more, and if anybody else thinks of other questions, feel free to add in. Okay, so here's a question that we get asked all the time, is talking to people about money makes me nervous. But I know I have to do it in order to raise capital. So how do you do it? And it's true. Raising capital and talking about money is so awkward, especially in Western culture, right? To ask people how much they make, or even to ask if they're an accredited investor, it can be really awkward. It's making my palms sweaty just thinking about it. But here's the thing, is at the end of the day, you have to know that you have to know your purpose for going into it. And that is what is rooting your conversation. It's not about digging into their financials and trying to peek behind the curtain. I see how much money you have. It's not about that. It's about giving them an opportunity that they wouldn't have access to otherwise. So if you have that mindset going in, the awkwardness will just drop away. So again, we have more on that at go.capitalraiseracademy.com. All right, second question. I'm working full-time. How much time does it take to raise capital? And I'm sure that some of you out here, not everybody has their own capital raiser business that they're working on full-time. A lot of you are still working your W-2 jobs, still working full-time and doing this on the side. And First, I absolutely commend you for doing that. And that's how I started too. I was working my job and doing capital raising on the side. And it's something that you can absolutely do. And the thing is though, when you're working a full-time job, you have to put the time into building those systems and the automations and the funnels. So that even when you're working your W-2 job, your capital raising automations and your funnels are still working for you to find investors, to educate them, and to bring them into your system. And so that's why we put so much time and effort and value into those automations and those funnels that we build, because they're working on our behalf, even when we're not working in the business ourselves. So again, visit go.capitalraiseracademy.com to learn more about how you can get your hands on that exact system. Okay, we've got about 5 minutes left. I've got 3 other questions that I can answer here. All right. Do you need capital raising investing experience to get started raising capital? And so I think Tony, had asked this before. Was, how do you show your track record? And same thing, you do need to show you have some sort of experience, but it doesn't have to be that you've actually syndicated a deal yourself. And in fact, when Julie and I started, we had never syndicated a deal before, but we did know how it all worked. And that's really the key, is you have to know enough about how it all works to be able to explain it to your investors so they can understand how to get from where they are to being able to reach their financial goals through investing in your deals. So that's the key, it's not about all the things that you've done, it's about how you can use what you know to connect with your investors. And we're always happy to help you with that. Again, go.capitalraiseracademy.com, and you can learn all about that. All right, couple more questions here. We've got a little more than 3 minutes. Okay, so where do you go to find high net worth investors? Wouldn't we all like to know, right? Are they just hiding around the corner, or are they sipping wine at some yacht club, right? And so, just like the book Millionaire Next Door, high net worth investors are actually all over the place. And it's not about going someplace special to find them. It's about knowing what to say and how to tap into the network that you already have to find those high net worth investors. And for me and Julie through Good Egg, we wanted to reach out to these moms, these working moms who had some capital saved up to help them make their money go to work for them. And so after we figured out, okay, we're trying to help moms. Where do moms hang out? Okay, moms hang out on Facebook, in Facebook groups. And moms listen to podcasts while they're nursing or while they're doing their laundry. And so we've been able to find a lot of our investors that way, through commenting on these Facebook groups and through doing these podcast interviews. And so it's going to be different for everybody. There's no wrong answer. It's just getting out there and providing value. And that's how you're going to find your high net worth investors. And a blog is a great way to do that. And again, through Capital Raiser Academy, we're going to give you one blog post every week that you can post on your own site. So it's done for you. Again, go to capitalraiseracademy.com. Okay, I got one more question here. We got 2 minutes left. Okay, and remember, if you sign up within the next 2 minutes, we're going to give you not just Capital Raiser Academy, but we're also going to give you Passive Real Estate Investor Academy. So you get both. All right, last question I have here is, I've never done a real estate syndication deal before. Can I still raise capital? And I think you know by now, my answer is absolutely yes. Yes, you can. You don't have to have syndicated a deal before. The only thing that syndicating a deal teaches you to do is syndicating a deal. It doesn't teach you how to raise capital necessarily. And so what you need is not just syndication experience. You just need to be able to connect with your investors. And remember, we talked about those 3 keys. You need to first figure out who your target investors are. You need to be able to create value for them, and you need to be consistent. So that, I would say, is by far more important than you having done a syndication deal before. So if you haven't done a syndication but you want to raise capital, there are absolutely ways to get around that and to really connect with investors. And it doesn't, as you can see with us, we had never syndicated a deal before, and now we're able to raise millions of dollars with the click of a button. So absolutely, it does not limit you. So again, one last time, we've got less than 30 seconds. If you're interested, go to go.capitalraiseracademy.com. And for those of you who have signed up, we are thrilled to help you on your journeys. And again, thank you all for spending your part of your Saturday with me. And I hope that this session has given you a lot to think about and a lot of value for your businesses. And last thing I'll say, is if you want to connect with me for any reason, I'm always happy to help. You can reach out to me at Annie@goodegginvestments.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Annie. And thank you for all the wonderful information. It was a ton of knowledge that you provided to us this afternoon. So thank you very much. And I hope you have a wonderful Saturday.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a ton of knowledge, and we are going to finish out here. Do not forget, for the entry for the iPad right here, you're going to want to register for next year's summit with nextmfin.com is one entry. Go to Multifamily Investor Nation podcast, post a review, and then you're going to want to take a screenshot and send it to Stacy@multifamilyinvestornation.com to get credit for one entry. And then for going ahead and being so active with us, 50% is one entry, 75% is 3 entries, and over 90% is 10 entries. Right now, we're going to close. Thank you very much for attending in room number 3. Make sure you head over to room number 1 for the closing remarks with Dan Hamford and our golden nuggets. I'll see you in room number 1.